Hey everyone. Welcome to another episode of Meet this Oasis Team. This is a special one for me at least because I get to host one of my favorite people in the world, Andrea. But yeah, I'm not going to share too many details. I'm going to let Andrea introduce herself. And honestly, I can start with the first question in my series of questions. Um, please tell us a bit about yourself, and I'm sure everyone would love to know more about your background before Oasis, of course.
Hi, Minya, and everyone. It's really nice to be here, and thank you for such a lovely introduction. So, I'm the head of HR and culture here at Foundation. I've been a part of the team for 2.5 years now. And so, my role as the head of HR and culture is just to make sure that our team feels supported. That we co-create an environment and a culture in which we can all feel safe and in which we can all thrive and innovate and create history. So yeah, that's the focus of my role.
And what an amazing job you're doing! Like, guys, I just want to share a bit of insider information. Andrea is the most amazing person in the world. Like, we're all supported because of her. She always tends to us make sure, because we're all workaholics at Oasis. I'm sure you notice that we're all pushing out content and doing stuff around the clock. She always makes sure that we take our vacations and try to take time off. She's always on her head about that. But what about before joining Oasis? What was your background before that?
Well, just to kind of add to it, we are a virtual team, right? So it's even more important for us to focus on one another, to support one another, and I think it's the entire team. Like everyone just really looks after one another and gives their part to creating the culture that we have, and it's shaping up to be an amazing one. Anyway, in terms of my history before Oasis, obviously in my career, I've done many things, but I've always been very passionate about supporting, helping people thrive. I'm an internationally certified executive coach and trainer. And so before joining Oasis, I had this amazing privilege to be a part of an extraordinary team of the world famous business strategist and coach, Tony Robbins. And obviously, I was with that team for many years. And that too was a fully virtual environment. So it kind of gave me a very good experience in terms of, how a team needs to work together and almost breathe as one. And if you give the team the right environment, they're able to achieve really incredible results. So I think from that perspective, I've been very, very fortunate. And supporting high performing teams and leaders has kind of really been something I've been actively engaged with for many years, and I'm still very passionate about it now.
And I can honestly say, like, I'm familiar with Tony Robbins. I read some of his books, and they really helped me actually in my career and with motivation and I don't know, sorting out my life, I would say.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know if I should share it, but I'm just gonna share it because I like to be transparent with our community. I did have some coaching sessions with Andrea, and I can honestly say she's incredible, and you helped me so much. And I always told you that, but yeah, those coaching sessions really helped me out.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad. And look, I think it's so important to have that open mindset and to know when to reach out for help. I think asking for help in a high performing environment is oftentimes really hard for people. There's the stigma that we have that we should know everything, and oh my goodness, I'm being paid for this, so surely I should know it, or surely I have to know how to deal with it. But none of us was born knowing it all. And I think just collaborating and asking for help and having that open mind is really what helps us grow. And that's where it's at. I'm very glad to hear that.
Exactly. And I actually adopted that mindset myself because I always had the wrong habit of blaming myself for everything and not knowing enough. And being in such a high performance team, it's really difficult, and it takes its toll on you because you meet all these incredible individuals all around you, and our amazing engineer team and marketing and BD and everyone.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, you realize that you're in an environment where the other team members nurture you and help you all the time, and you feel supported. And I think that's the most important aspect.
mm,
And this is uh, we just revamped the ambassador program, and this is exactly the same thing that I'm trying to do with our ambassadors, like create a nurturing space where they feel supported and loved and helped.
yeah.
So yeah, thank you for that, Andrea, because you inspired me to to think more like that.
Well, and thank
Um,
you for doing an amazing job, right? It's already within you. So it's I always say that whatever glimpses of light that we get when we need it the most, it's there because it's already inside of us. And when we get inspired and we tap into those, internal resources that are in each and every one of us, we allow magic to happen. And I think that's like that in general is and should be the main focus. Obviously, of me as HR, my role is to make sure that we feel connected to the project. We are a fully virtual team, so feeling valued and seen and heard and understood, but also have that feeling that you truly belong. Sometimes that is very difficult to create when you're in a complete virtual setting, but I think we have managed to find ways in which we engage, and so well. So yeah, it's definitely an important thing for us to cherish.
exactly. I wish there were more hours in a day because we have a lot of initiatives
Yeah.
every time. So, but yeah, this is. I mean, it's not weird because we all have different backgrounds, of course. Uh, but I just wanted to know. Um, I assume, like you already told us, that you started your journey in the Web2 space. Um, what caught your attention about Web3? What made you make the jump to the Web3 industry, and more specifically, why Oasis?
Mm. Well, I guess, I studied criminal justice and security. And that was kind of the first time that I was alerted to certain aspects of privacy, and how important that is, not just for our own safety, but for the safety of others. So the topic has always been close to my heart. And then I guess I started flirting with crypto and blockchain back in 2020. And obviously that wasn't that long ago. So I signed up for my first exchange, and I, started investing in crypto, and I started reading about different projects and the space. And oh boy, when I look back, what a ride has it been since, huh? Just in general in the market. But the way I joined Oasis, actually, I came recommended for my growth workshops and my coaching, by a mutual acquaintance. And I was contracted at first to deliver purely, growth workshops and coaching. But I guess the chemistry with the team was quite instant. And I was very quickly pulled into, the incredible mission and vision of Oasis. I think whoever starts reading up on our project and starts following what we do and the technology that's being created here, doesn't take long to figure out that this is history in the making. So I guess, I was just inspired and pulled and impressed by the incredible brains of the team, the energy the team possesses. And I was willing to do whatever I possibly could to, help contribute to the greater vision of the project. So 2.5 years later, here I am.
And exactly 2.5 years later, here I am as well.
Yes, yes. It's been a journey for sure. It's
It's
been a
been quite a journey, but
journey. Yeah.
yeah, I guess I can speak for both of us. Like we're truly blessed to be part of such an amazing team. Um, and it's funny. I didn't know that you were also an investor. We never spoke about this. Um, in your opinion, what would be a barrier for mainstream acceptance of Web3?
It's a good question. I think it's in general, I think it's the idea that it's just too complex. The usage of the technology, the cryptography behind it, like Web 2 is kind of still stuck in the old ways. And it's just very natural, right? It's human psychology. It's change, it's the change curve. And you always have this group of people that are early adopters, and they just dive in and they're like, I don't care if it's working, I don't care if it breaks, I want to test it, it's a new toy, right? And they're just all over it. And it's amazing to see how then like 85% or therefore so right, of people just need to have like a complete product, right? Complete convenience, running smoothly, easy adoption, user friendly, not needing to study about it all that much. And I think just like with everything, there is this tipping point that the market has to reach and tip over for it to reach that mainstream market. And yeah, I guess right now I think that there is a bit of a race in Web3 to make sure that we make usability of this technology and products seamless, right? And very user friendly, and ideally with no previous cryptography knowledge or background. And I think, if I may say, conveniently so, right? This is where Oasis again is pioneering, because we currently have the only production-ready confidential EVM, right, our Sapphire. And with the Eden mainnet upgrade last week, things are just, getting smoother. And I think not only that we're very excited about that, we're also very proud of that. And that maybe is the gap, right, for mainstream Web3 adoption.
It is, and we're also creating some other cool tools for breaking down barriers, which I won't spoil now, but soon we'll
Yeah,
announce.
yeah,
Yeah, our engineering team is just amazing.
incredible.
I can't say that enough. I know I always say that, but they're really incredible. Um, but yeah, yeah, I think usability is one of the biggest factors that like the biggest barrier in the adoption. And of course, because you have people that are not familiar with Web 2, let alone Web 3. The more you pile on top of them, the more they'll reject every new thing that comes their way. And I think this is the most wonderful aspect of Web3, because all the projects are doing joint efforts to break down the barriers of usability and UX, basically.
Yeah.
Um, but enough about tech. I want to hear more about Andrea. Um, what what are some of your passions, your hobbies? What do you do in your free time? I know we don't have a lot of free time at Oasis, but
Yeah.
whenever you have free time, what do you enjoy doing? Because
Well,
I'm sure. Sorry.
yeah, no, look, I think, like you said, free time is to be defined, right? Um, just like with anything, when you love something, it doesn't matter, how long it takes you or how much you do it. I know since always, I've always been obsessed with personal growth and helping myself and others, grow and expand and tap into those best versions of themselves. So coaching is definitely, has been, is, and always will be an area and a strong part of my life, my purpose that I will always find time for. And obviously it requires a lot of continuous growth and learning and applying, also in my personal and professional life as well. And I guess I just feel very fortunate and very blessed that so many incredibly talented people like yourself, right, have and still do entrust me with working with them. So I guess true passion definitely is coaching and empowering people, and like I said before, helping high performing teams to be sustainable, because a lot of the times when we go fast, we can crash and burn very easily, and I guess that's if we then reflect that back into our own lives. Like I think I couldn't live without physical activity. Making time for hobbies and sports, movement, nature, friends, family, traveling, all of those things really, light me up. I love to paint. I love to dance. And I guess all of it together, combined with where I get to spend my days and how I get to spend them, are just, yeah, that's very rewarding. And I'm just very blessed.
Yeah, I totally understand. And holidays are just around the corner, so we'll be able to unwind and take some time for ourselves and our families. So
Yeah, yeah.
we're all good. We deserve it. It's been quite a year and
It has.
it's been
It
quite,
has. And
yeah,
it's
both
it's
in the industry and here at Oasis.
yes, exactly. And it's just so important that we do take that time off. Like I think holidays and time off and time for recharge, to recharge the batteries, is of paramount importance. And with every team, I would imagine, there are times when people are on the brink of burnout, or just going very fast and very hard, and I guess you just don't even realize how fast you're going sometimes, and that's why it's just so important for us to look after one another, and then when you take the time off, to really enjoy and charge those batteries for sure.
Exactly. And I think this is uh it's not a good thing for sure, but we're all passionate about what we're doing, so the risk of burnout is even higher in our
Mm,
case.
yeah.
I know I have days where I sit 12, 14 hours in front of the computer because
Mm,
there's always something to do
yeah.
here at Oasis. So whenever I disconnect, I realize how tired I am and how
Mm.
how much of a 6 months vacation I need.
6 months is a
Uh,
long time. You would miss us.
yeah, I know.
You would
I'm
miss us
joking.
so much.
I'm joking. I'm not able to stay away even for 2 days, even when we're on vacation.
I know.
Um, but since you're the head of culture, Andrea, can you tell our community some of the values we embrace here at Oasis?
Yeah, I think that's a great topic that you've started. Look, I think for us here at Oasis, I think our shared values are not just some words written down somewhere in a doc that we never look at. I think they are rather just like living and breathing characteristics of and traits and behaviors and skills of our team members and our individuals. And I guess that's something that we strive and want to see in our fellow team members, and we reward that type of behavior as well. So in practical terms, for example, our shared values definitely act as a compass when we need to make decisions, or when we need to set some firm boundaries, or even if something breaks, like communication or a relationship. I think these shared values definitely act as a glue for us to overcome those difficulties, to grow from them even stronger, and to be very self-aware of what's necessary and how we need to grow as a team. We are a very young team, right? And it's very important for us to have that student for life mentality, that open growth mindset. And so I'm just very proud I'm incredibly proud of our team and how far we've come together, right? I think we've made some tremendous progress, especially in the last year and a half. And yeah, look, it's not just the shared values, right? I think the culture as a whole is built on very solid blocks, and I guess some of those blocks are freedom, definitely, right? Freedom for people to think with their own heads, to take ownership of their own work, to have agency. Like, I think agency is just so crucial for individuals, like to take pride of your work and to be recognized and seen. So that's definitely like a huge building block of our culture, I would say. We definitely, we are a high performing team, so we follow high performing principles, but we also reward, right? We reward loyalty. We make sure that we reward commitment, going the extra mile. Like, we try to make an effort to catch people when they do things right. And I think that's it. It's a beautiful shift. And I guess we also do put a lot of emphasis on growth, right? The growth and the development of each individual. I mean, it's a very customized process because we have so many different teams, and different roles need different type of support, right? So I think we do pride ourselves with being a people's first culture. Like, you can probably attest to that, Minya. Like, we do
Yes.
very hard, right, to make sure that people aren't left behind. That, we just, I think having a culture where people are eager, to challenge one another, to speak up, to voice their opinions, to offer their suggestions, and to be courageous enough to give feedback, constructive feedback, but then also to be humble enough to receive it, because it's sometimes it's easier to give feedback than it is to take it. And I think our team has worked very hard to get to a point where I think that's coming together. And we're seeing feedback as a gift, and we're just making sure that there's this environment of psychological safety, right? Support, where people really can not just communicate openly, but I also think that it's such a huge win when you see people owning their mistakes and taking responsibility and being curious and ready to help. Like, there's just so many situations on a daily basis where you see our team members rushing to help before a person even has to say something. And I think that's just such a beautiful testament to the hearts in this team. It's
Exactly.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It really is.
Yeah, and I know um, some people use this as shallow word that I hear this in other teams and companies, and we're a family. We need to work together. And I know usually they're just shallow words, but honestly, I can honestly say that I feel like I'm part of the family here at Oasis, and I think I can speak for everyone else as well, because we did meet in person and we kind of know each other by now, and I don't know, everything just clicked. Even though we worked in a remote environment for so long, whenever we did meet in person,
Yeah,
everything just clicked, and we felt comfortable with each other. Um, that Yeah, we have an amazing culture,
yeah.
and team buildings are important, and I just want to thank you for hosting two team buildings already for us. They've been amazing, and I wanted to ask you because you're the person organizing everything. Like, what is the main goal you have in mind when you organize these team building events?
Well, there's a couple of things that I wanted to say before I answer that question. Like you said earlier, that you feel like we're a family. We're still, I mean, we're no longer such a small team, but we still are small enough, right? To be able to really connect. I think one danger of being a family is that people then tend to not take feedback or direction or certain things as seriously as they would if they would treat the work environment fully, strictly professional. But I would also argue on that point that I think we managed to find a very healthy balance where people are relaxed and open, and like you said, feeling that belonging. That's what's, I think, causing us to feel like we're a part of something amazing, as a part of a family. But on the flip side, what I really appreciate and admire about the brains on our team is that there isn't one person who wouldn't be like, nope, I don't agree with this. This is something we need, right? It's like the challenging, the professionalism. It's very present, and like you said, having these in-person meetings. I mean, the shift in our culture has just been tremendous since we started meeting in person for a longer period of time. So we met twice for like week-long retreats. In spring, we met in a beautiful setting of Lake Bled in Slovenia, which was just divine. And then obviously in Split, that was in Croatia. We met in October. And I think the main focus of these live events is for us to regroup, right? To reflect, to bond. And I guess to be able to run even faster afterwards, because I mean, the amount of the high level work, the strategy, the feedback, just the collectiveness of the entire group being able to chime in on things and offer different perspectives, and I think that's the magic, the friendships, the connections that are built, and then we get to take those into our everyday virtual lives. And I get goosebumps just thinking about like the synergy that we created each and every time that we met in person. Yeah, and I think I think it's pretty safe to say that we are just such a group of so different, like fundamentally different individuals, right? We consist out of a large portion of engineers, and then marketing, and then community, and then content writers, and business development, and events and operations, right? All of these moving parts. It's like we all have a different way of approaching the same thing, and it's just amazing to see how this almost like this orchestra is created, where all these moving parts, they come together, and we just find this common language, right? The friendship, the respect, and I think it's this power of the team, the collectiveness, that really drives our innovation. And yeah, I think we're only just starting.
That's so beautifully put. Like, yeah, we are an orchestra after all.
Yeah, yeah.
But in I don't know, in your opinion, can you maybe share what do you think Web3 teams get wrong or right about team building and culture?
Well, it's a big question. I for sure know that, like, when we were organizing our live events, this wasn't down to one person, not at all. Like, this was moving parts and taking in the high level and I guess the detailed level as well of the things that take priority. And so, um, if we talk about team buildings, that's a very specific topic. Like, if we look at what Web3, or even just like teams in general, are doing well or not, fundamentally, it comes down to human psychology, right? To all of us, regardless of how old you are, or what level of experience you have, or what's your title. I think feeling valued and feeling appreciated and seen and heard and respected is of huge importance, right? And a lot of those feelings and a lot of those emotions usually come from the source, and the source first and foremost has to be trust, right? Having the trust in that workplace. And I think, if you think about it, when you're trusted that you're able to handle a task regardless of whether you've ever done it before or not, but you're trusted that you're going to handle it. You're trusted, right, that you will ask for help if you're going to need help. You are trusted that, I don't know, you give the individual the freedom, not only over the process of the individual's work, but also the result and the impact of their work. I think that's just as important. And again, it's a big question. So there are different teams, and teams are differently skilled, and there's a different level of experience. But fundamentally, not waiting for quarterly reviews to give constructive feedback. I think that's another one. Like it's crazy how it doesn't matter how highly one ranks. Difficult conversations oftentimes tend to be the big elephant in the room, right? It's just, I'll do it later, or it's uncomfortable and I don't like, but we all give our time and our energy, and it takes courage to offer it. So I think that giving feedback should be the minimum hygiene that every team should strive to adopt. But then, like we said before, receiving it gracefully, right? That's a whole nother skill set on its own. So I think if anywhere in Web3, we have this perfect environment where leadership can act in decentralized ways of thinking and of leading and empowering teams as a whole, because you can truly have the best technology and the best product you possibly can on this planet, but if you don't trust or invest into the marketing and the content and the community and the BD and the HR and so on, you're just going to stay the best kept secret, right? And
Exactly.
yeah, it's just working smarter. Yeah, working smarter and in a team.
Exactly. It's such a pleasure listening to you, and um, yeah, you created so much content for us and so many workshops, and a lot of workshops about feedback, because
Mhm.
feedback is really important within a team. I agree. Um, and I can honestly say that we're all comfortable in giving feedback now after all this time. People were reluctant in the beginning in
Mhm.
giving feedback, but now I can say we're way more comfortable in doing that, and it really helps, because if you're not giving feedback, how does one know when they're doing something wrong, or
Exactly. Exactly.
it's
And
really important.
yeah, I mean, look, I always think you show that you care when you say something. It's like you can observe someone doing something that's just so out of sorts. And when you say nothing, a part of you just decides, yeah, I don't care if they're going to grow or not. But if you like brave up and be like, actually, this is just so uncomfortable, but I have to tell you this, right? And hopefully you can receive it in the best possible way. Then you truly do offer a gift. And another thing that we all know happens when you don't is we stack, right? You start stacking, there's resentment, there's uncomfortable feelings, then all of a sudden you start putting up walls, you don't enjoy working with that individual. There's this whole big story that then happens in your mind out of like, it's not necessary, right? Because I'm sure that there's this level of maturity in each individual that if only they're keen and eager to grow and receive, um, even if uncomfortable, right? It's the minimum. I think it's the minimum hygiene that every business should pay close attention to.
Exactly, exactly. I see we have no live questions from the audience, so maybe some closing thoughts. Um, from my side, I hope that everyone understood how loved we are at Oasis and how nurturing of an environment it is, and that's why we're performing so well because we
Yeah,
have Andrea to to thank for that, for keeping us afloat.
it's not just me. That's the beauty of this
I
team.
know, I know.
You guys, like, you are also a huge ambassador, and like every single other person, like I am just so incredibly proud when people reach out and they're like, hey, I spoke to this person today, can you please check in on them, I'm not sure if they're doing well. And that's like, oh, thank you, because like I said, it's a high performing team. Asking for help is like the last thing that you want to do when you're like a high performer and you're kicking ass, right? But it's
Exactly.
just yet another thing that I think we've learned as a team to put on the like not to put on the pedestal, but to rather put on the pedestal asking for help and being proud of like not only taking care of you, but also everyone around you. And it's a team effort. It's a team effort from the beginning until end. And I think that's why perhaps we all love working with our team so much. It's because it's not the top-down approach. It's very like it's the belonging, and I don't think we yeah I think we all play a huge part in it.
We do. We do. We do. I agree. I agree. Well, it's been truly an honor having you here on the show with us. And I'm happy that the community finally got to meet you in person.
Yes, me too.
Um, it's been an incredible year. We still have one event left, at the end of the year, community town hall, which I'm very excited about. Our whole team is going to be there, and just to give you a heads up, it's not going to be the same format as we had in the past. So it is going to be a live discussion, more of the talk show kind of feel. So I urge everyone to attend then because it's going to be fun. You're gonna meet everyone in our team, so it's gonna be a very fun town hall. But again, thank you, Andrea, for joining. Thank you, everyone, for attending, and we hope to meet you very soon again.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Vinya. It was a joy and a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.